What's up FLS investors, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can create your own simple budget tracker using Google Sheets. This template will help you track your income, expenses, savings and debts, which is a really useful strategy to help take back control of your finances. I'm going to run through the build from start to finish. It's really simple, but anyone should be able to follow. I'll even show you how to make it look more graphically appealing towards the end of the video. If you're having trouble following the speed of the video, click the gear icon at the bottom right of the video and set the playback speed to 0.5. With that out of the way, let's get into it. First, let's set the zoom to 90%. Now we're going to start with adding the header to the top and then the month below it. Once it's set up, you'll be able to copy the template for each month, the year. Next, we're going to add the headings for income and expenses sections, and also our budget and actual sections as well. I'm also going to add in the expense categories underneath both the budget and actual sections. In this instance, I'm going to keep it fairly simple and just go with needs, wants, savings and debts. As you can see already, that gives us some nice foundation to start building from. So sticking with the expense categories for now, what we'll do next is add the drop-down menus under the expenses section. So if I select the first cell, which is F6, then come up to the top ribbon and select data, data validation, then add rule, you can see that the criteria is already set to drop down. So we'll start with setting the value for option 1 to needs. Option 2 is going to be wants. Then if we select add another item and set that value to savings, then select add another item again and set that value to debts. Now next to each value you have this grey circle. In here we can set the colour for each option. As we are creating this in Google Sheets, I'm just going to keep the colour scheme nice and googly. I'll leave the rest of the colour scheme to the end. Now if I click done and go back to the sheet, you can see there is a drop down in cell F6, which if I click it will give me the option to select any of my 4 expense categories. Now in order to get that to copy to the cells below it, I'm going to hover over the bottom right of the cell, click and then drag down to as many cells as I want. Next up, we're going to finish formatting our income and expenses section. Firstly, we're going to select the entire column next to the income column, which in this instance is column B. Then if I head to the ribbon at the top and find the currency icon, which here is a $sign, and click it, that's going to format the cells in column B to be in the currency format. As you can see, any number I enter into the field is displayed as a dollar amount. I'm now going to do the same for the expenses. Highlight column E and select currency. Now if you're not in the US or don't want to use dollars, follow the same steps to select the whole column, then head to the ribbon and select format, number, then scroll down and select custom currency. You can see that you have a whole list of currencies to choose from. Pick the one that's most relevant to you. In this instance though, I'm just going to leave it as it is. Now we're also going to add the currency formatting to the budget and actual sections. We can do this by just selecting the specific fields we want and then selecting the currency option from the ribbon again. In addition to this, we're also going to set these extra columns in the budget and actual sections to percentages. Again, we're going to highlight the cells we want and then select the percentage option from the ribbon. Now, we're not going to populate most of these percentage and currency fields manually. We're going to use some simple formulas to auto-populate most of that data. Let's start with the income total. If you select cell B5, then you're going to type the following formula. Equals sum, open bracket, B6 colon B100, close bracket. Then click enter. This will then add all the values in cells B6 to B100 together and present that value in cell B5. I'm just going to enter in some examples to show you how that automates. Now if we do the same for the expenses section, so select cell E5, then type equals sum, open bracket, E6 colon E100, close bracket, then select enter. That's essentially the income and expenses sections done, so we can now move on to the budget section. The percentage column under the budget section is going to be manually entered, as this is where we're going to specify what we think is or what our goal is for each expenses category. I'm just going to put in some base values. Now if we select the currency cell for the needs budget and then type in the following value, equals sum, open bracket, then B5, which is the income total, multiplied by I14, which is the needs budget percentage, close bracket, then enter. You can see that it now gives us the monetary value based on the percentage we entered in the adjacent cell. Now we're just going to do the same for the other three categories. So equals sum, open bracket, then B5, which is the income total, multiplied by I15, which is the wants budget percentage, close bracket, then enter. And equals sum, open bracket, then B5, which is the income total again, multiplied by I16, which is the savings budget percentage, close bracket, then enter. And finally equals sum, open bracket again, then B5, which again is the income total, multiplied by I17, which is the debts budget percentage, close brackets, then enter again. And the budget section is done. Now we're going to move on to the actual section. So in this field, we're going to type in equals sum if, open bracket, F6 colon F100, colon, space, open quotes, needs, end quotes, then a comma, then a space, then E6 colon E100, close brackets, then enter. What the sum if command is going to do is for any values in cells F6 to F100, match the word needs, then add the corresponding values from column E. And now we're just going to add the same formulas for the other three categories, but change the specified word accordingly. So for once it'll be equals sum if, open bracket, F6 colon F100, then once, and then E6 colon E100, close brackets, then enter. And then for savings, equals sum if, open brackets, F6 colon F100, then savings, then E6 colon E100, close brackets, then enter. And then for debts as well. So equals sum if, open brackets, F6 colon F100, then debts, then E6 colon E100, close brackets, then enter. Now if we add some expense examples in, you'll see how the actual currency fields populate. The next step is to sort out the actual percentage fields, which is a much easier formula. Start by selecting the needs actual field, type in equals sum, open brackets, N14 / B5, close brackets, then click enter. This is going to take the value in the needs currency actual field and then divide it by the total income field to get the percentage value. Now all we have to do is do the same for the other three categories. So equals sum, open brackets, N15 / B5, close brackets, then equals sum, open brackets, N16 / B5, close brackets, and finally equals sum, open brackets, N17 / B5, close brackets. And as you can see, all nicely populated fields. If we wanted to, we could leave it like this. It's now fully functional and will do what you want it to do. But I'm just going to take some time to format a few things and make it look a bit more visually appealing. Let's start by turning off the grid lines. There's no reason for it other than personal preference. Then we're going to merge the header and month titles to get sent to them, and maybe make the text a little bit bigger and bold. Next, we're going to bolden those section headings. Maybe we'll even merge and center those budget and actual headings as well, just to make them look a little bit neater. Then we can change the background and text color for those headings just to make them pop a little bit more. And we'll give those sections some borders just to tidy them up a little. And finally, I'm going to continue the Google theme by changing the background and text colors of the categories in the budget and actual sections. And that looks much neater. You can use whatever color scheme you want or copy what I've done. It's entirely up to you. Now, I don't know about you, but I love a graph. So let's add some. So first of all, we're going to start by selecting the data that we want in the graph. In this instance, we're going to start by selecting the needs, wants, savings, and debts option, then the currency columns in both the budget and actual sections. We're then going to come up to the ribbon, select Insert, then Chart. Now you can see that it hasn't added both budget and actual values in. So under date range, if you add in N13 colon N17, then scroll down to series, click Add Series, and select the N13 to N17 range, you can now see that it adds it in. I'm then going to select Customize, Chart Style, and set the border color to none. And I'm going to set the title of the chart by going to Chart Titles. I'm then going to scroll down to Legend and set the position to None. If we want to change the color of each column, we need to go to Series, then scroll down to Format Data Point. You're then going to select the data point you want from the drop-down list, click OK, then select the colored circle next to it to change the color. You simply need to repeat this step and add in each data point and change the color. Bear with me for a second, I'm just going to run through that now. Now that graph is looking nice, let's add another one. To give us a real-time look at the percentage of our expenses per category, we're going to select the needs, wants, savings, and debts, along with the corresponding currency values from the actual section. We're then going to select Insert, Chart, but this time we're going to select the chart type as a pie chart. Again, we'll go to Customize, Chart Style, and set the border color to none. And set the chart title accordingly. Then if I scroll down to Pie Slice, I can select each slice and change the color to correlate to the ones I've already assigned them, just so that it matches the rest of the color scheme. Now all that's left to do is resize and put the graphs in position. And there you have it. A simple but visually appealing and functional budget tracker. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the comments, or if you have any requests for any other Google Sheets projects you'd like to see, let me know. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe, as it'll really help the channel out, and above all else, I'd greatly appreciate it. If you're new to budgeting, feel free to check out the linked video on screen to better understand how to budget. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.